Thank you, Mr. Toastmaster. Verily, I say unto you, no prophet is accepted in his own country. Luke said that. You may be more familiar with a quote that's attributed to various people, including Mark Twain and Yogi Berra. And that is, forecasting is difficult, especially about the future. In fact, this is actually so old that it's a folk tale. It's part of our folklore. The idea that we can look into the future and predict is some characteristic of our species that's very interesting. But I want to draw a distinction here because prediction is such a vital part of some of the things that we do in life. And I want to make a distinction between prophecy and forecasting, which are both forms of prediction. And I'm going to do that by providing you some definitions and some examples. And I hope that you'll also see that there are some pitfalls involved with prediction that you should avoid. And you should understand when you're in the realm of prophecy and in the realm of forecasting, in deference to our distinguished member Carl, whose expertise in forecasting far exceeds mine, I will still step up and try to give you definitions in those areas. So, drum roll please. There. Because I did provide some visual aids as crutches in order to be able to deliver this to you. I went to my favorite source. It comes from Princeton University. It's used by lexicographers, people who are experts in words. It's called WordNet, in order to look at the foundations of these words. And I use the verb sense because that's what's used there. So prediction is about three things: to forecast or calculate, to judge to be probable, or to claim that indications or signs point to something. A forecast is a prediction or a revelation. A prophecy is a prediction or a revelation through divine inspiration, or to deliver a lecture or a sermon. Now I reverse those, so you better pay close attention, because that's not a forecast. And in a forecast, you calculate and predict in advance, or you judge to be probable, or to be indicated by signs. So you can see there's a lot of overlap and commonality there when you use those words. They fall into that area of synonyms. But I want to try to make a distinction here that's relevant for you. And so I'm going to give you some examples that I think help us to understand the difference between when we're in that area of forecasting, which has a scientific basis, and we're in that area of prophecy, which comes from inspiration. So, who's familiar with SETI, the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence? Okay. There's a lot of work that's been done in this area. Not much success yet. We don't know if we're alone in the universe as sentient beings, or if there exists extraterrestrial intelligence. But one great scientist has pointed out that all of this work to do this involves prophecy and not prediction, not forecasting. And the reason why is, no matter how we might try to speculate about the forms of intelligence that may be out there, and their technologies and other sorts of things, that's all we're doing is speculating. We don't have a scientific basis, we don't have evidence, we have no reason to expect that they would evolve along the same lines as us, and that our one example of sentience on our own planet and the related sentience of other species on this planet doesn't really reveal to us the sort of foundations that we could use. So if you're out searching for extraterrestrial life and you're speculating about that and making a forecast about when and how we're going to find it, you're more involved in prophecy than prediction. One of my favorite futurists is Ray Kurzweil. And I first encountered Ray Kurzweil. He wrote a book called The Age of Spiritual Machines. He's a scientist, he's an inventor, he's an author. He's incredibly famous now, but he was part of the Army Science Board at one point, so I can claim that I actually sat in a room with the man. And I admire his work greatly. He bases a lot of what he predicts on science, And he predicts that one day soon, we will all be able to become immortal. And he has scientific evidence that he purports to use for this. One thing he depends on is Moore's Law. And Moore's Law says that there's a nonlinear increase in computing power that's occurred. And he says that other things that have happened in the world also happen in a similar manner. That they're information-based processes. And this note is a straight line, but the scale is logarithmic, which means it's also a curve. And what he says is he can look back at innovations that have occurred over time and how human knowledge has expanded, and that we will reach the point someday where that computing power and that technology will allow us to make ourselves immortal. Sadly, I have to report he's not making a prediction, despite the fact he's identified the year it will occur. He is still in the realm of prophecy. I play poker. When I play poker, there are cases where I'm holding a hand where I believe I'm going to win. And I predict I'm going to win, and I try to get all my money in and all the money of the other players in. Because there's only one card out of 46 cards that haven't been revealed. There's only a 2% chance I might lose. I'm making a prediction, I'm betting on it. Sometimes I lose, and I should expect to lose. It's still a prediction. It's based on evidence, experience, and science. It's not certain. None of your predictions are certain. So I've tried to tell you that there are things in life that we look at that we can predict with more certainty than others, and use prediction all the time. You can't get through life without predicting. But you should understand when you're moving into the realm of prophecy rather than forecast, and you should be cognizant that you should not caricature what you have as scientifically evidence-based if it has some element that's part of your intuition and your inspiration. And by the way, Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John all said, a prophet is without honor in his own kingdom. Thank you.